Hello again and welcome to a special episode of Positive Talks where we're previewing an up-and-coming event, Rise4Disability in Kent. We will be going down there to see what's happening for real, but for now, here's a chance to see what you can see when you go down there. Sit back, grab a drink and relax, and welcome to Positive Talks. Yes, welcome to this special episode of Positive Talks. As ever, you've got Jade sat alongside me, and I'm Mike Cowan-Jones, Jade Wallace, and it's good to be with you again. Now, one of the things that we've mentioned in the past is an event called Rise4Disability, and the brains behind that, I have to say, Jade, is you, Jade. So, Jade, what on earth is Rise4Disability, and how did it come about?
So RISE stands for Resource Identify Solutions and Equipment for Disability. We've had the RISE brand and events that have been established for maybe 9 years now, I think. It'll be our 8th year in Kent with this upcoming event. And it pretty much started off from I used to go and do product demonstrations for multiple different pieces of kit and did like open days that kind of just grew over time. So they started off, I used to do like impartial product training presentations. So if we were doing something on sleep systems, for example, I'd have multiple different sleep systems there and give like a open and honest opinion of what works, what doesn't, etc., from a non-biased kind of approach, because we used to give information on products, we didn't sell them ourselves. So that kind of started off doing like lunch and learns and different areas of like workshops and stuff across the country. And then we came across a client that had a venue in Kent. They did like adaptations and that, and they asked whether we would hold an event at their Kent. It was at Dartford Football Club, so they were like the chair of there, and they had an adaptations company. So we had to fulfill and make a much larger kind of open day, and KCC got involved, and what planned to be 30 people with some lunches turned into being like 250 people crammed in this football hall. So it was very well attended, and it's just a relationship that we've established and built over the years. So the way we do our events different from your other regional events is that we really bring in what is topical in that area. So I'm sure, Mike, you'll know, as an OT going to different areas and doing training, elements of training and importance is different depending on the council or the hospital, and everything's different. It's a bit of postcode lottery sometimes. So what's on one person's agenda may be completely different from another person's depending on what area they live in. So to make sure that the event content is relevant and right by the region that it's placed in, we work with the local authority groups. So we work with health and social care teams to present on their placement of work. They talk about their projects that they're running and share experiences, but not only to promote integration, but also to spread awareness of the role of OT and other allied health professionals and what they do within that area. We also bring in the community as an element of this as well, and they're involved in the content and learning objectives. So people with lived experience of disability involved, charities. We also do scenario-based workshops in our Connected Care workshop with the local back exchange group. So anything from on hands case scenario workshops, not just around moving and handling, it can be postural management, lots of different kinds of elements to that. Then we have a theatre where OTs, that's the busiest timetable, is the OT/therapy integration theatre, where loads of different OTs from the Kent and Medway area will come in, have a 20-minute presentation, talk about their field, talk about what they're doing, and then the next person comes on, and it's people from that area that present. We also have our community campaigns conference, which is for the disabled community, where we will take information from our panels and put that forward for things like surveys and reports to try and create policy changes within that particular topic as well. And this is the same kind of theme that follows us throughout the different areas that we run the events in. So Kent being the first and the most established event. So hopefully kickstart with a
Okay.
bang.
So it started with Kent, what, 9 years ago. Kent's still going now. I'm aware that it's expanded out and is reaching
It's
other regions.
expanded and it's descaled as well. So where we obviously did more of a national event in London last year, Kent used to attract 3,000 plus in one day in a large venue, but it wasn't, though it wasn't accessible by public transport. So you were restricted by the amount of people that you could get to come along to the event. So that's why we then branched out and held one in London, where more of the disabled community would come to the London event. And last year, our Kent event ran solely as an OT focused event, which in a much smaller venue still saw nearly 500 people for it, and it was very, very busy and you couldn't get around it. So it's always been a successful event, just changed in size and structure as such. So going back to a regional focus, we've now got obviously Kent in a slightly bigger venue than last year, still not much larger, but we also have our Milton Keynes event to follow, slightly northern of that, so it's not too close, so it attracts a new audience as well. So, and then obviously others further on in the year.
And one of the things I've noticed, though, Jade, is you've very much focused it on Kent and the issues that are relevant to the Kent population. But can people from outside of Kent come and visit? I mean, I'm up in the Midlands. If I was to come down, which I can't, unfortunately, but I might send someone who can we come down? Will we benefit from it?
Definitely. So I would say that it's a regionally focused thing. So we have OTs from Essex, South London, them kind of areas. So wherever's the closest one to you, just because it's ran, the OT theatres run by KCC, doesn't mean that it's not going to be of relevance or interest. And the whole idea is to allow different regions and areas to learn from each other. So they are allowed to showcase what they're doing well, what things need to be changed, but it's all about networking, speaking to each other. I mean, Kent is probably the most focused on Kent, whereas the other events, it's more that area. There's more representation from different areas in, just because they've completely took a hold of their own event and they run it and it works really well. But for example, Milton Keynes, there'd be people from Bedford, Northampton, I think.
Yes, Northampton probably commute there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
northern London as well, because it's not too far from there. So from that kind of region, even people registered from Birmingham, anywhere from below Birmingham and above London, I think would be who would be involved with Milton Keynes. And then the same for Sunderland, anyone from the northeast region. We've got multiple different councils and teams involved in that one, and then the same for
But if
Scotland.
people wish, I'm sorry to talk over you, Jade,
That's
but
fine.
if people wish to come down to Kent, they can. I mean, if you're from north of the border, from Scotland, come
Oh,
on
if you
down
want
if you
to, yeah,
wish.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that
Although
it'd
we're very
probably
aware
be better
legislation's
to
different.
attend the Scotland one. That's why we've put it there, to make it more
Ah, that might
achievable.
make
But I would
sense.
say that if a company covers the whole of the UK, then yes, come to them all, because there'll be different learning objectives and things that are done differently, if that makes sense. But
So is it only aimed at occupational therapists, or can other
no,
people come along too?
no. So we have different representations. Our therapy integration theatre is for allied health professionals, but we do in such as OTs, physios, etc. But we also do want to influence carers, people with lived experience of disability, particularly within, so we've got different theatres. We've got Connected to Care, which is our scenario-based workshop, which teaches moving and handling. We look at different scenarios and stuff, and that's free to have that training, which usually costs money for people. Um, the OT theatre is probably more allied health professionally focused for Kent, I might add as well. It's a bit different in different areas. And then we have our community campaigns, which is disability focused. So it's actually a campaign that we're trying to take over the course of the year to create changing policies for people with disabilities as well. So we've got 6 topics that we're covering across the UK with our community campaigns. The ones at Kent that will be focused is tackling obstacles within travel, making sure education's truly SEND inclusive, and the financial implications of living with a disability. So that's the 3 that we are kicking off with in Kent.
Making transport particularly accessible will be really important. I believe Channel 4 have recently highlighted that in one of their programs. I don't suppose there's any chance you've got anyone that might have been on that appearing, have you? Because that'd be really good.
Yeah, we have our
You have?
panelist. Yeah, Isaac Harvey was on that documentary, and he'll be on that panel as well. And hopefully, might get to chat to him in person in the live show. So I have asked him if he'll do an interview for us for Positive Talks.
Well, that'd be fantastic. And I think the idea about campaigning and making a change is going to be really important, because although we've got a new government, it's still the same old issues, and it's how to
Yeah.
address that. So what are the things you think people should look out for when they come to Kent? Either, let's start within the show itself. Any particular exhibitors or talks you think people ought to aim for?
I think that depending on who is attending, there's something there for everyone. We have 50, so our target was to get to 50 exhibitors, and we have 52 confirmed. So we have 52 exhibitors there, and we've reached that target. And we have some quite interesting. So we've got some interactive things. We've got a vehicle area outside where one of the companies we're going to be speaking to at the event is our mobility partners, Mobility Emotion, and they do some really good vehicle adaptations that are anything from low scale to higher need as well, in like a standard non-WAV vehicle. So they do like chair turners, they do the scooter lifts, they do like the shelving at the top and stuff for chairs. They've got loads of different solutions. So we'll be
You
having a chat with
mentioned
them.
WAV. WAV, of course, being wheelchair
Sorry,
accessible
accessible
vehicle,
vehicle.
isn't it? Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
get used to your terminology and just say it. But and we've
You do,
also,
because I'm aware that if you don't work in that area or don't use it often, you won't be familiar. But yeah, wheelchair
but it's quite
accessible vehicle.
interesting for
Yeah.
OTs to look at that side of things as well, to do it, because it's something that you maybe sometimes get asked, but there's not a lot of training therefore, if
Mm.
that makes sense. So Lewis Reed do a bit around moving and handling within WAVs as well, so you have like the specific talks and presentations in there. We've also got keeping with the topic of vehicles, we've got Motability doing a presentation about how to access the scheme and who's eligible for it, etc. So we've got somebody from there doing a talk. Then obviously we've Connected to Care. It's that's usually my favourite thing that I like to be involved
What's
in.
Connected to Care about, Jade? What's that about?
So they're like hands-on workshops where we ask what the agenda or specific needs or learning objectives are for the area, and we've been told that postural management's one. Bed safety is another topic that I think across the board people are looking into with the new regulations that have come out recently. And we've also got Kay James doing a presentation on, so she does a lot of the moving and handling within Kent, and she's doing one around people that don't want to be hoisted, so other alternatives, so standing transfers and other alternatives to hoisting. I've even experienced that with supporting people myself, which is quite interesting. And with the postural management one, we've took it one step further, where we're looking at the right type of seat for the right type of person, and then looked at the mobilisation within seating as well. So depending on what chair, depending on how mobilised somebody is. So that's one of the workshops we're doing. And
Yeah, because that can be a conflict. We try and get the right postural support, but then it inhibits someone's ability to be independent and move
yeah,
around.
so that's what you try and look by a case by case scenario, and then say what justification there is, and then what improvement that's going to have, or what barriers might be faced with it. So that's we just go a little bit more in depth, and it's interesting. I usually enjoy
There's lots of exciting stuff going on. I'm just sorry I can't be there myself. Unfortunately I'm committed to working elsewhere on that day. However, I have got my spies. I have got somebody who'll be travelling down to Kent on my behalf, a young lady called Caitlin, who, as well as working for me at Arms Rehab Limited, she's also my daughter. So I'm expecting to see and hear great things, and I'm told she might be seeing you to talk about positive talks as well, because we clearly want to spread the word about positive talks, don't we, and get more people involved. And it sounds like this event's going to be a big thing. What about Kent itself? Because presumably people can go down there and make a bit of if they want to, an overnighter. I understand it's known as the Garden of England.
I mean, our venues at the Pfizer Discovery Centre, so I don't know how much garden's going on there, but there is
And
some lovely places in Kent, but it's coastal, so not too far. I think where is it that you were booked? Is it you were in Dover or not?
Yeah, there could be some accommodation in Dover. I think that Caitlin might be at. Yes.
So it's not too far from. It's at Sandwich, and that's still on the coast. So yeah, loads of coastal places. Not far from Margate, I think, actually.
And
Where
as we all know,
Sandwich is.
Delby and the team had a lovely day out at Margate, so I'm sure we could do the same sort of thing. And you mentioned Sandwich. It seems Sandwich is a theme throughout Kent events, not having enough initially to 500
Yeah,
people turning up to Sandwich itself.
yeah, we've gone
So
to
if
a
anyone wants
place.
to come
Hopefully we have
down,
loads of sandwiches.
is it too late to apply for tickets, or can people just turn
Nope,
up on
it's
the day if
free.
they have
It's
to?
free to attend. So we would recommend registering. The only reason is Pfizer's a secured building, so they ask for ID. So if you do just turn up, please make sure you bring passport, bank card, anything just to show. Ask Caitlin to bring ID as well, please. To the venue
Oh,
to
I'm
be able
sure
to
she
get in.
will.
And the train station is a 10-minute walk. Sandwich train station. You can get a train from London from there. So the people doing our videography and some other people that are involved in the event are travelling from London via train. I think it's from Stratford International. You can get a train direct there. It's about an hour and 40 on a train, I think. That's obviously one option. Vehicle, there's loads of parking. We've even got the lady that does our marketing flying, but she's getting the train as well. So she's coming from
She's
Spain.
flying.
Yeah, she's from
It's going to
Spain.
make her arms ache, isn't it?
So she'll be travelling from Spain and meeting us, but she's getting the train again from London to Sandwich.
That's dedication, coming over from Spain to Dover to Sandwich just to look at this. Okay, so there's lots of good stuff going on. I do know that there will be a few things being done on a future Positive Talks episode. So we'll look back at this. You say we might be having Isaac Harvey being interviewed.
Yep.
And there'll be the usual features as well. So we've mentioned that. I guess we ought to just explain for other people, if you want to set up a Rise4Disability event in your area, guys, they can contact you, Jade, is it, and organise something that way? You
Please
don't
do. If you want
have
to
to
be,
stick to the others.
if you're within the local area, when I say local area, within, I don't know, 50 to 100 miles. How far is 100 miles too far? I don't know. I'm
100
not good with
miles is 1
miles.
mile more than 99. Yes.
So if you're within a reasonable area from Kent, Milton Keynes, Sunderland or Scotland, and you'd like to present or talk about your placement of work or your council, etc., please contact, because we'd love to have you involved. If you feel that there's events lacking in your area and there is a need and a large audience for us to come and do something in that area as well, then please do get in contact, because we're always interested in branching out into different places as well.
Okay, and I suppose one last thing, and details will be or have been coming up on the screen, hopefully. If not, they'll be up at the end. You can always contact us via social medias, as ever, our social channels. But the details of the forthcoming events after Kent, we have Milton Keynes.
Yep, on the 22nd of October at Marshall Arena.
Sunderland.
So Scotland's first, Glasgow.
Glasgow, is it? Okay, Glasgow.
Yep. Glasgow's on the 5th of November at Hampden Park.
And Sunderland?
Sunderland will be on the 13th of February at the Beacon of Light.
Okay, so lots of stuff cropping up then. We are going to leave you now to contemplate, get your tickets, register to come down to Kent or to one of the other events. And thank you for listening. In the meantime, keep your positive talks going and come down and say hello to Jade and maybe Caitlin and have a positive talk with them as well. So
please leave any comments as well from if after the event. If you want to write anything on here or any feedback, that would be great.
It will be. That's a really good point. So from me, I'm going to say goodbye now. So thank you very much, Jade.
Thank you. See you later. See you soon.
Okay. And keep the positive talks going. Bye-bye.